Hey everyone, we've got another 8 Grassy commentary for you guys. As you know, 8 Grassy is a staple set and time on this channel. I am basically goal when it comes to 8 seconds, 10 seconds Grassy hills. And I'm not saying this myself. I'm just, saying what the people have told me. Just speaking for the people, preaching for the people. So as you know, I'm an 8 Grassy pro, and we're going to have an 8 Grassy matchup for you guys, featuring Cornflake, who actually has not been featured on this channel before, but he's one of my longtime Arc friends. He's super awesome, friendly guy, and great at the game. Also, you might see him on the game as Slim Bill. If you do see him, yeah, say hi. And I know Cornflake is a loyal viewer. He's actually watched every single one of my videos. So hey, the reason he's good, it's because of my videos. That's the only reason. Only possible explanation. At least why he's so good at his flashes. So I'll give him everything else, but the flashes, yeah, that was me. So let's just get right into it. And I'll pause every few turns. Also going to do an experiment here, just zoom in a little bit. It was a suggestion brought to you by Overseer Sigtinius, and so I'm going to try this out. And I'll pause every few turns, like I said, just analyze the moves that just happened. But you see this often in 10 Grassy, okay? So we'll pause, we'll zoom out just for a minute here. So what are we doing? We're not really engaging in like close combat, like hand to hand, like boom, throw a punch, throw a mud, throw a mega, lava drain bolt. It's none of this, right? We're just going to the left side, we're going to the right side. We're like setting up, like chess piece development, early game sort of strategical. I would call this like it's equivalent to like positional play in chess. We're just kind of waiting out, being a bit passive, and waiting for the opponent to blunder, just making incremental improvements as the game goes on. So, and you'll see this with the Portal books. Both of these guys have Portal, and it's just generic 10 Grassy. It's pretty reliable. And so the idea behind that is to hide and build up your prots, eventually set up a portal. So you're going to see a portal come up above Proz, or maybe Proz will try and put a portal above Cornflake. Here he decides to put it through the aura, which is an interesting play. When the aura expires, he can go through there. So same sort of idea, but it's not above him, it's under him. That's a play that I wouldn't quite make. But, I'm such an AG pro, so it must have been a mistake that Cornflake put that portal down there. But now I'm playing. It could work, and we'll see how it works out in this game. It's not a move that I would make because, I'm not so experienced with 8s, but we'll see how it works. Again, the basic idea is once the aura expires, he can use the portal. Pro still trees it, right? Just because every time a portal comes up, you want to deal with it in some way or another. Use aura or tree, because if you don't, your opponent will go through the portal, stay in the portal, clock you or mega you, and then they get ported back to their hidey spot, and you can't damage them. So that's why portal's so dangerous if you don't deal with it properly. So here Proz goes for his portal, or no, actually he doesn't. Bill brings out another portal, or Cornflake, I guess, and he goes for the pebble just to kill the tree, because again, he's going to use portal to get over to Proz, right? And he actually gets portal grabbed there. So you can see Proz used a portal, and he just basically put the portal right next to Proz, just like a pixel away, and that's how you do the portal grab in this game. You basically just put the portal right next to the player, and then just incrementally move your mouse to the point where you're just like hugging the player. I can show you guys that after this game. You can see Proz has Storm Shield and Shock Bomb, which is kind of interesting. His idea is, okay, I'm going to use chip damage. I'm going to use auras and shock shields to whittle down Cornflake here. So he's got a portal up. He's going to use it to, again, make sort of some incremental advances. Get a pebble in. Proz just repositions. Maybe Cornflake here going for a mud. Yeah, but he's got 8 seconds. That's not a lot of time. So he whiffed that one. So Proz is able to escape and get a mud off himself. And They're cornflake trees. I think he says, you know, I'm not in a position to really be hit for a mega that's going to be that dangerous. So I think I'm okay here. I'm just going to tree so that I can prevent the sky ray from coming out. So they still kind of exchange blows here, right? You don't see Proz making that much progress with his, or making that much, like, getting that much value out of his shock shield, is what I mean to say. But, you know, he's hoping that eventually it can be an important asset. And here now he has some time to get the shock shield off, and now it's dangerous because he would be detowered by a shock shield and then flashed off. So Cornflake knows this, so he goes into the aura to detower, and then he just muds him. And a nice little tidbit there about that pebble that Proz did. If you have prots up, you can pebble down, and it won't stop the pebbles. They'll just go straight through. So yeah, they're making quite a few moves here. I know I said I'd pause a little bit more, but you can kind of see how the game is progressing. Each player just kind of opening themselves up, you know, doing a little bit of damage. And he gets the clock in, right? That's a good play. Now Proz has to go on the defensive. And the reason why I guess Proz didn't tower, he flashed out and hit Cornflake, is because, well, maybe either one, he had the tower on cooldown, or two, he towers and then he's not really untrapped. So he chooses to gate out of the tree just to help gain some tempo. And they're just exchanging prots, exchanging flight. This is a lot of what Tenji is. It's kind of a stally, sort of boring gameplay in my personal opinion, but it can be fun. You just got to be in the mood for it to kind of out-strategize your opponent. It's definitely, you know, faster than 60G, but it does have a lot of the same principles of 60G at play. It's just not revolved around minions, but you do kind of have the importance of positioning in an 8 Grassy game, just like you would in a 60 Grassy game, right? So here, Proz has Peg, which I'll talk about just for a minute. The reason he has Peg is just to block aerials, right? And also, it's super frustrating when you have an advantage and you're, like maybe you're in a tower and you could have the opportunity to get a clock off or a mega, but a Pegasus is in the way, and you don't necessarily want to like detower, flight over to him, put yourself in a vulnerable spot to do it. So Peg is good for stalling, and it's super frustrating to verse in 10 Grassy because, yeah, you just think that you have an edge on your opponent, and then they summon a Pegasus to block a hole, not allowing you to get that big damage move in. So Proz goes for the pebble there. Probably should have been a little bit less aggro, and Cornflake was able to get that clock off. A lot of 8G is knowing when to be aggressive, when to not be aggressive, right? And in that situation, I think he's better off just using his last mud, if he's got any left. I don't quite remember, I wasn't counting. Or if he doesn't have mud, just gating away. But one issue with portals is that if you have a lot of portals set up from one side to the other, then it makes it easier for your opponent to not stall, right? So again, he's got 8 seconds there, so he didn't quite get that positioning, and so he got some of that flash damage, right? So here you can see how Pegasus is annoying. Slim Bill would win outright pretty much here if he could clock Proz back into the water. He doesn't have his gate up, he would have to do some, you know, wild stuff to come back. So, okay, I paused it for some reason there. Let me go over what just happened in that last turn. So, Proz portal grabbed Cornflake. He was right to the right of this portal. He portal grabbed Cornflake, and he had a shock shield up. And when you portal grab someone into a shock shield, you'll always fall to the right of the shock shield. Yeah, pro tip, because I know I'm such an amazing AG, or I know all this shit. Yeah, just ask Goal. Well, he probably won't respond because he's Goal, he doesn't talk, but, you know, ask someone who's good. and they'll tell you, oh yeah, co-eval is super good at AG. But yeah, that's one sort of facet of his book. If you teleport in off a sink and he's got shock shield up, he can portal grab you into the water again, and then you don't have your gate up, you lose a lot more health, and he just gets a huge advantage. So here he's actually able to tip the scales of the game a bit, because he's down a lot of health, 117, but he's able to block with the peg, and then cornflake repositions, but he forgets about this little cheesy shock shield portal grab sink. Again, he goes to the right, so cornflake will go that way into the water once he's portal grabbed, and then you can see he's sunk and he has to gate again. And now Proz has a bit of some breathing room, I guess is the best way to put it. So we'll go back to being zoomed in here, and again, a lot of 8G and 10G is just about portal play. And now, I don't know, I'm just letting it play out, but it doesn't pan back to the player when he uses them. Like, Proz goes to his peg sys, and then it doesn't go back to the player, so maybe I'll have to control the camera a bit more. Okay, so he kills the peg just because he doesn't want it to be undead, and then cornflake goes for a portal. I will say when I'm zoomed in, sometimes the camera is kind of funky and it doesn't really show that well what's going on, what spell's being cast. But we'll try it for a little bit longer here and see how things are going. I try to, use the camera when I can to make it a little bit of an easier viewing experience. Don't want to make too many mistakes as far as that goes. And yeah, I'm just going to remind myself to portal grab to show you guys how to portal grab when the game's over. Yeah, like right there, it doesn't pan back to cornflake, but then when it's his turn after the portal grab, you'll see that he appears back in there. Whereas if I was zoomed out, you would see him appear in the portal, and then, it would be it would make a little bit more sense. Like, I imagine if you're a new player, it might be a little bit confusing if you see something happen that's not on the screen. So nice play there with the Sky Ray. They're just, exchanging portal grabs, and Proz is going to reposition. He's got aerial coverage, so that's really good. Bill doesn't have any sort of mech arrow or anything, but he actually goes for a mega boulder into that portal. So it's very important to look at, like, where is that portal going to lead to, and, like, am I able to make a big play to swing the game? And in fact, cornflake does it with that mega boulder, which was pretty sick. 8G is a lot about just instinct. You're not even thinking, or you're thinking about turn 10 when it's turn 1. Like, your mind is just racing, right? And you don't have any time to think, pretty much. If you needed to think in a turn, you have like 2 seconds, and then the amount of margin for error that you have, or the amount of time that you have to move or do your movements, maneuvers, is going down by like quite a bit, 20% or so. If you take 2 seconds to think, right, in an 8G game, that's 25% of the time. So you're really putting yourself in a difficult situation. So you just often got to go immediately and just kind of practice and practice and practice. Just keep playing those games, and then you'll find out, oh, what to do in that situation. Oh, it's just second nature now. After I played 100, 200, 300 8G games, then you'll kind of know what to do in certain situations. But yeah, Bill plays an awesome game here. Maneuvers well with the portals, and I'll show you guys how to do that portal grab real quick. I'm just going to grab my 10G generic book, and I guess we'll go in sandbox, and I'll spawn someone, and then, yeah, so the way that you do it is basically you see how you just go super close, and then you basically have to be like touching the player. So you move your mouse just slightly over, right? And that way you know, okay, obviously the portal is not castable, but then you just move your mouse slightly to the left, and then boom, portal grab. Now, how much margin for error do you have here? I'm not sure. We could test it out and figure it out for ourselves right now. So like let's say I am just like a pixel away, so I'm just figuring it out. Okay, so that will grab, but what if I'm a little bit further away? Like there. Does that work? Yeah, so a little bit further away works, but you can see, and this might be obvious, but if I try to grab and I'm not quite on target, like maybe there, yeah, that's not going to quite work. You see there's too much space in between. But yeah, you might think, oh, how do you do that in AG? Like, that's kind of ridiculous. Well, you just gotta, practice. And the way I would do it, let's say I have 8 seconds. I gotta get a portal back. If I have 8 seconds, I just go here, zoom in, 5, 4, 3, and then I'm able to get it off. But you're right, if you have to do any sort of maneuvering, any other stuff, and then you've got 3 seconds to portal grab, it's going to be quite a, endeavor. It just takes practice. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like some of these 8G games and commentaries, then yeah, let me know. I know that I polled the community and they love the 10G content. So if you guys love this, yeah, drop a comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great day. Peace out.